I like gun shows. I think they're fun, I think you can get some good deals, but I also know that some people in the military surplus community aren't a huge fan of gun shows. So for today's gun show haul video, because you guys seem to like watching those and I like making them, I'm going to show you the things I got at the gun show, and then I'm going to talk about why I like gun shows. So I'm going to start with the thing that is already in frame because it is so big, and that is a Turkish Mauser, an M38. This one is produced in 1942, an Ankara KCAL. And yeah, this is actually a really cool rifle I found, and the bayonet that the guy was selling. The barrel ring on the bayonet is just a little bit bent, so it's really stiff. I'm gonna see about trying to bend that back. Or maybe if I just clean up the muzzle and then clean up inside of the ring, it will go on and off easier. Talk about the bayonet really fast. The sheath looks really rusty. However, the blade itself and the handle and those kinds of things are actually in pretty good shape. Although the sheath is pretty messed up, and it's missing the ball at the front. I can't remember what that's called. But generally speaking, I'm pretty happy with this, that it just came with it. And I paid what I think you'd likely pay for a Turkish Mauser anyway. Every time I buy a rifle at a gun show, I always check the rifling to make sure that it's good, and this one does have actually pretty good rifling. There is one crack in the handguard right here, but other than that, the wood also appears to be in fairly good shape. One thing about this gun is that it is filthy. Because my Yugo Mauser was having so many firing pin issues, I decided to check out the firing pin on this one before I bought it. And when I took it apart, I realized that it was just covered in cosmoline. But however, covered in cosmoline usually means that it's pretty well protected from the elements, so that should be pretty clean down inside of there. But yeah, you can see that the drainage hole on the bolt is just full of gunk. Touching the metal, you can feel kind of that dry, dusty, was covered in grease feeling. And many of the parts, when you rub them, grease just comes off on your fingers. So it just needs a good cleaning, and I'm going to try to figure out how to clean the stock off too. So that is my new Turkish Mauser and bayonet for that. I didn't get any 8mm this time, but I did get 2 boxes of 15 7.62x54R. I thought this was going to come on stripper clips because that's normally how it comes in these boxes. And the guys I bought it from also said that they thought it came on stripper clips. But I took it home, cut it open, and realized that they do not have stripper clips. So that's kind of disappointing. The real Russian black stripper clips are usually better than the cheap steel ones you get from China and from Amazon and those kinds of things. So I was hoping to get some more of those, but it is just the standard Russian surplus ammo that you can get everywhere. Alright, then I got a couple of handguns, and bear with me because they're kind of stupid, kind of toys, kind of fun type stuff. The first one is, for a very long time, I have wanted a Harrington & Richards revolver, one of the top breaks. I just think they're really cool. I know they're not high quality, but they're also really inexpensive. So I traded my Norinco 213 Tokarev for this handgun and this handgun, which is in 25 ACP. I just thought it was really funny to buy the biggest gun that I could at the gun show and then buy the smallest gun that I could. I'll talk about the H&R first. This is an H&R revolver chambered in 32 Smith & Wesson long, which means I can also fire regular 32 Smith & Wesson out of it. Just like all of these pistols that I have ever seen, it's not in the best shape on the inside. After you fire it, and I did clear this before I started filming, so the trigger does not rebound all the way, so before you can fire it, you need to push the trigger the rest of the way, and then you can fire it again. Also, and I'm honestly not sure about this because I'm not very familiar with these revolvers, but I think there's supposed to be a spring that keeps this piece down, and there is not. So what that means is if you're not paying very careful attention, this could come up and then the action could be open when you pull the trigger, which is not a good idea. So that's another thing I want to check out, is if that piece is supposed to be spring-loaded, and if that part is in here but just fell out or broke, or if I need to order a new one. So this needs some work, and I kind of knew that buying it, but I bought this for the mechanical coolness and the historical significance rather than actually to shoot it. I do still want to shoot it though, and the guy who sold it to me said that it was timed well for him, and he also gave me 2 boxes of Smith & Wesson long, which was really kind of him. This box does have a few reloads in it, however most of them are not reloads. But I am really excited to get this working and someday take it out to the range. Even if I don't get the chance to though, it still looks beautiful like it is. Next is the Hawes 25 ACP. Has a heel magazine release that holds 6 rounds, so it is 6+1, and I can barely get 2 fingers on it. So it does have a safety on this side right here. Down is safe, up is fire, and then the extractor is on top. I have no idea how reliable this is going to be. I'm just excited to take it out and shoot it. It was one of those things that I saw it and I was like, okay, I need to have that. With this pistol, he gave me 25 rounds of Hornady hollow points. And so I think that is really funny too, is that I have defensive ammo for probably one of the least viable defensive handguns possible. But if nothing else, that ammo should cycle reliably for testing it and shooting it a little bit just for fun. However, that adds 2 new calibers to the ammo that I'm always looking for, which is 32 Smith & Wesson and 25 ACP. I need to stop doing this to myself. So this was a bit of a smaller gun show haul than usual, but let's talk about why I like gun shows. And the first reason is I just think they're fun. I think they're a cool place to meet people, get to talk to people who have different experiences than you, and just walk around and see some cool stuff. After I bought this, I was walking around with it and looking at some of the other booths, and while I was doing that, people were just walking by and looking at it and asking questions and those kinds of things. People were just curious about this rifle. I had the bayonet fixed, and this guy's girlfriend wanted to see the bayonet, which I thought was kind of cool, so she took some looks at that. I just think it's a fun environment to get to talk to people. Now, granted, I'm a pretty extroverted person, so that's something I actually enjoy. A lot of people don't enjoy that. The second thing is you can actually find some deals. I've heard some people make the claim before that they don't want to pay $5 to go somewhere and look at a whole bunch of things that they can look at on the internet and buy on the internet. Now, one of the things I've realized is because gun shows reach different crowds of people, you can usually find some somewhat decent deals. I didn't get anything outstanding this time. However, a few gun shows ago, I got a Mauser M44 for $250 with about 200 rounds of ammo. And the rifle was in very good shape, and that's almost unheard of in today's market. I also one time bought a spam can of 7.62x54 for $75. And that was just a few years ago, even after those spam cans were, I don't know, $150. The third thing is that the deals you find or the guns you find, you can actually examine. And you can't do that on the internet. So for example, with this rifle, I was able to look down the bore, I was able to take the bolt apart, I was able to remove the bolt and just inspect it from there. Some sellers, if you're seriously interested and you ask, they'll let you like pull the trigger and do those kinds of things so you can make sure the rifle functions before you actually put money on it. And you can't really do that online. Generally speaking, with surplus, stores have a as-is deal where whatever you buy, it comes as is, and there's nothing you can really do about that. That's still a problem at gun shows, but if you buy it at a gun show, you have the opportunity to look it over and look at the things you can see. The fourth thing is ammo. I've seen a lot of ammos at gun shows that I cannot find online. Maybe if you go to a place like Gunbroker, you can enter an auction, and if you enter that auction, the price might go higher. But even right now, if you look online, you can't find 7.62x54R for 50 cents a round. Not that that's any type of phenomenal deal, but it is better than you can get anywhere on the internet, and then you have to pay shipping too. But if you go to a gun show, you can look at all of the options and see if there's something there that you can't find anywhere else. While I was at the show, I looked at 32 Smith & Wesson long on AmmoSeek, and the only one available was $1.20 a round. Then, even though it's not a gun show, I went to my local gun store, and they had boxes of 50 for $40. Again, not a very good deal, but it is cheaper than what I found online. Finally, I found out that gun shows are a great place to get military surplus accessories. Now, no, I don't mean the random Native American nonsense that is not Native American in any way, nor do I mean $50 scopes and gun parts that don't have any brand on them. What I mean is things like bags, ammo cans, pouches, bayonets, those kinds of things, I found at gun shows for actually pretty reasonably. I have a 40mm grenade ammo can that I keep all of my 8mm in, and it was about 15 bucks, which is actually a pretty good deal considering if you buy that online, you'll pay a much higher price and you have to pay shipping. I've also found pouches and slings and those kinds of things for various guns that I just didn't know I needed. And then I found them and decided I could use them. So those are some of the reasons that I like gun shows, even though I know that they are unpopular in certain crowds. However, I'd be interested in hearing reasons that you have for why you do or do not like gun shows. But I have a lot of gun cleaning to do. So, I went to a gun show today and I lived on.
Which proves it's hard to get the best of a man named John.